Hello everyone and welcome to a Spodia stream. We are now in the Royalty Series. Welcome to the Royalty Series, everybody. This is the league that formed right after the combination of the Skyward Series and the Amateur Gaming League. And again, a new league means a lot of interesting new matchups and kind of a clean slate for a lot of teams, as we're going to see here tonight. We've got one match, it's a week one match. Immortal Guardians, a new organization, but not that new, we've seen them before, taking on Team Ignition in a best of 5 matchup. Again, how interesting it is to see essentially what we saw from the Skyward Series and the Amateur Gaming League, but now combined, both those leagues merged. This is the result, as well as another tournament server known as Score for a Cure, which is the extension of Score for a Cause, which started the Skyward Series. So we're going to be seeing a good amount of them as well. Score for a Cure is going to be running a couple tournaments, so we'll be seeing a lot of stuff between both those different organizations. But for now, let's get into Immortal Guardians Team Ignition here, this best of 5 matchup. And as I said, Immortal Guardians, a new team, but really not that new. This is actually the continuation of the Midnight Vipers that we've seen in the Amateur Gaming League. So, hasn't been too many major changes, I think, with that roster. It's still very similar, what we know of them. Devonic leading, but newer players behind him. On Team Ignition, they've made changes in the offseason, adding in Flip Out, who won the All-Star Division last season on ODU Monarch Silver, as well as a sub in Kenta. So, Ignition, they've made their changes. Immortal Guardians, obviously extension of Midnight Vipers. The new player that we've seen on that team before, I think, is Devonic. At least that's the only one I remember. I think we've seen Jessix as well, but no easy matchups here in this league. As hopefully get things started up just a few minutes. Hopefully everybody in chat is doing well. Let's see you all again. My name is SpottyFC. Again, you guys are having a good evening here. We only have one and only one match here tonight between both of these sides. Hopefully everything is well for you guys. As I'll check out a little bit. I'm just gonna check sound real quick. Yep, sounds good. Well, we'll get everything going again. This is the start to the Royalty Series on this stream. Again, a new league, and I love to see this kind of stuff. I love to see new leagues like this, because usually when we have newer leagues like this, it really does mean only good things happening. So hopefully that's what we'll get here on this stream. Hopefully we'll get some amazing matchups. Again, this basically is just Amateur Gaming League Skyward Series, their extension. Those leagues are now gone, but they have combined to make this one, and they have a ton of teams in it. They have a ton of divisions. North American division, they have a European division. They obviously have the 2v2 division for North America as well. If I'm not wrong, let's see. They have 8 different divisions this season. They have a ton of divisions. So, again, these guys definitely know how to, how to make things work, how to play. So, definitely don't count them out. Hopefully we'll get these teams in any moment here, as prediction poll is live. Team Ignition, Immortal Guardians. Get your votes on who you think will take this one. And Team Ignition this season, we have Flip Out, who again won last season. We also have Carr, who is the coach who has won in the Skyward Series a couple times. And on the other side, Immortal Guardians presents representation from the Amateur Gaming League. They haven't, I don't know actually if they won last season. I think they did win the most, might have won the most recent season. And solid team though, with Devonic as a player we have seen before. We are going to see him here tonight as well. He leads this roster. Ricky G and Jessix joining in with him. On a Team Ignition, I'm expecting to be Cody, Ruby, Flip Out. Plays there, and Ruby and Flip Out actually were teammates in the past on Team Execute. A team that didn't last very long. It was a team that was meant to be a super team in the All-Star Division. It flopped pretty quickly. And now they're trying to invent things now with Cody, obviously, being in the backfield to provide some, well-needed, I think, hope, especially for a player like Cody, who's been in the season a ton of times, but never been able to make it exceptionally far in the playoffs. Not compared to Flip Out and Ruby, who have. Ruby's made it to second place before. Flip Out has won. As I see a raid coming in from Seth Tom. Thank you for the raid. Seth, how you doing? Have a good stream as well for you. You guys don't know Seth Baum, another caster, great guy. I am actually going to be casting with him a little bit in the future, so it's definitely a good idea to go show support to him. And I see Royalty Series is here in chat. Hello, Royalty Series. Who is this? Is this Moldy Bananas? Or actually, I have a feeling this is probably Slepless's account. So welcome in. I'm assuming it's Slepless. Hello, Nox as well in chat. Yeah, we got Nox coming in. Hello, Nox. Noxy-poo, I think is what I called you. It is Moldy. Oh, okay, it is Moldy. Well, welcome in, Moldy. You're doing well, my friend. And nice to see you all here. We got one match. It's a best of 5. So hopefully we'll get Ignition, and I know they said they might be a bit late, so we'll be waiting on them. But yeah, our match here, Immortal Guardians, Team Ignition. Both these teams had a 0-0 record, so this is just a proving point for them. These teams have a lot to prove. These teams have a lot to stake claim to. See how it all goes here. Again, we're gonna get these teams in any moment here and get things underway. Also, Immortal's midnight. Yes, I do know. I do know. That's why I said you guys are the extension, or really the continuation of the Midnight Vipers roster. You know that. Vonic told me, actually, so you Devonic. Great guy. And we'll hopefully get Ignition in. I know, again, I said they might be like a minute or two late. Who's that fraud on the bottom? Wait, Car, you talking about yourself? I wouldn't call you a fraud, Car. You're a solid player. I've seen you on stream many times. And we'll things sort of as soon as we can. And not so much for being so supportive for jumping on. It's actually a decent turnout for a match like this. The only league that I know that has pretty consistent turnout would be the Buckley Splashers. Because a lot of the staff there love to watch matchups. It's tougher for leagues to do that, but it's just a pretty nice turnout. Actually, we got a lot of people jumping in. Nice to see you all. Stick around again. This is our only match tonight. Just one. But it should be a pretty good series overall, I would say. And see how Immortal Guardians Team Ignition do here. In part of week 1 in the Royalty Series. The first ever season. Season 1 of the Royalty Series. You know, again, both these leagues have been in talks to do this. I know that it's basically been confirmed good many months now that they would be merging. It's now confirmed, and again, we get this as well as Score Figure out of it, so you'll be seeing me in Score Figure as well. So I won't be playing, I'll be casting it obviously, but there'll still be a thing where you guys should turn out for it. Score Figure is a great thing. Get things hopefully we'll sort out soon enough. Again, I'm waiting on Ignition. And this is the same org, by the way, that we've seen on the stream for the Blackline Championship Series, obviously with the same captain and Cody, but a completely different roster. They have different rosters for different leagues. It's a little complicated, but it's overall not that terrible. Although it can be a little confusing. But just know that their Blackline roster is different than the roster used for basically everything else. So work with that as you see, as they have just joined, so we'll get this series underway then. A best of 5. It's Team Ignition, who've been on the stream so often but with a different roster, and Immortal Guardians, who used to be known by the Midnight Vipers, here tonight in a best of 5 matchup. Welcome to the Royalty Series, everybody. This is week 1. A big match, 2 teams. Immortal Guardians in the blue, Team Ignition on the orange, and we're off and away. A best of 5. And really this season, it's the clash of these 2 different leagues, and both these teams have proven, or really both these orgs have proven in the past, that they can make great runs with these rosters. But in week 1, it's all about how you feel, and it's a great start for Flip Out. Goal 1 will go to Team Ignition, player who just won this All-Star 50 division last season, the Skyward Series, will get off to a great start. Team Ignition looking for more. Flip out again. Pre-flip. Couldn't get that one tucked behind. Immortal Guardians already getting a feel for how this Team Ignition roster will be this season. It's one that's going to have a decent amount of defensive ploys, a decent amount of offensive attack, and What's scary is that we've seen Flip Out, but we haven't seen Ruby or Cody, and both these guys can be pretty scary on their own as... well, we're gonna get a good look at that here as Ruby now off the corner. Cody's got an open net, and it's goal 2. Team Ignition will double their lead. They're already off to a great start. They're only continuing it here. As Cody, who is probably going to be one of the more defensive players on this roster, already getting some offense here for Immortal Guardians. Again, a new roster this season. They have a lot to prove here. I think a lot more than Team Ignition do as a whole. And well, they're going to have to prove a lot more than just this, because this playstyle is going to be one where teams like Ignition will just pick it apart. 3 goals in less than a minute, my goodness. And now Ruby is on the score sheet, and Team Ignition just continue from their incredible start. As any relation to ODU Monarchs, the only relation is the fact that Flip Out's on this roster. Other than that, no. Not from this team. Cody is not in college. He's an adult. I know, the dude's old. He's like ancient in Rocket League history. I'm good friends with Cody, don't worry, I can say that about him. But, what a start, though, for Team Ignition. 3 goals already, looking for another Ruby! Nearly was able to get that one a little bit faster than Immortal Guardians, and right now, Team Ignition relying on that pace, and so surprisingly a lot like how we saw the ODU Monarchs. It was a team that just recognized each other quite well, suffocates that pressure, and plays with a pacing that is so tough to keep up with, and that's what I'm getting from this roster that is making them so scary here for a team like Immortal Guardians, who are quite experienced. And just look at this. The pace of Team Ignition, even when they make a mistake, it really isn't one. It works in their favor, as we see here. This touch from Jessex wasn't great, but Ruby meant to shoot that, and he completely missed it. Still, both Immortal Guardians defenders bit on it, and the same just continues onward. It's Team Ignition, who here in Game 1 are off to an incredible start. Well, coming in from Juiced. Thank you for the follow, Juiced. Welcome to the Spuddy stream. Hopefully all is going well for you. As we'll continue on with this one. Ignition. Upfield again. Demonic. Back in with Flip Out. Jessex will take to the sidewall and try to gather himself here fully. Really, for Immortal Guardians, they gotta gather themselves here. This is a horrible start for them, and I mean, you're bound to have horrible situations as teams, but this feels quite brutal because it's week 1, it's your first time together in this league. Man, this doesn't get much better, does it? Being in a situation like this, but the silver lining about this is that it is only Game 1, it is only a small sliver of what this series can be. And Ignition have to do this quite consistently over a long period of time. Even though they'll get their 5th goal here, I can't be fully convinced with Team Ignition until we see them do this again and again. But at least for now, this Game 1 already feels like it's wraps. Team Ignition off to the races. Immortal Guardians with not much else to say. As Ruby now looking for that double tap, but not much of anything there as Ricky has stopped moving on our screen there. I think they've had a controller disconnect. But overall, Immortal Guardians right back to their work, but that work is defense, not offense, and continuously they're just reaching for some of these challenges, but they will win that one. Cody won't give them a chance to shoot, though, and for Immortal Guardians, I don't even know if they've had a single shot this game. That's how bad it has been. Well, obviously they have at least had a couple on target, but nothing all that threatening, and even when they get close to this net, Ignition's, pressure, that suffocation playstyle works on defense too, as they just continue to get these goals. Cody's got a hat trick already. Often, you need to be scared of that third man, and Cody usually plays that position on whatever team he's on. Seeing that work here for Team Ignition. And this best of 5 is only getting worse for Immortal Guardians here in Game 1. My goodness, this has been a horrible start for them, but as I said, it's only one game, and as people in chat are very wisely saying, watch out for Demonic. This guy can step up. Wouldn't put it against him to find chances and take over a whole series. But at least for now, that's not happening. Demonic has just been a blip on the radar for Team Ignition. Nothing more as Flip Out now with that corner double tap will look for Cody in front. Ruby was on the back end of the field, and instead Flip Out just tripling around players, but he has lost possession to J6. Ignition will slowly play this one out. There's a flick up for Cody. Back to Ruby. 1-2-1. Now Flip Out's waiting in front, but he is... Oh no, sorry, he's waiting all the way back. That's Demonic that we have on screen. With a red car on a blue team. But for now, Team Ignition, they don't need to push up anymore. They know this game is over. They know that they've planted the seeds for their success. Really, I don't think there's been any issues with how they've been playing so far. As 10 seconds go down, Ignition at this point just hoping to keep this one in a shutout. They may not have it, though. That one whiffed in front, but nobody there. And Ignition will let it hit the ground. Game 1 goes to them, a 6-0 smashing win. A shutout, and not even just a shutout against the Immortal Guardians. Here in Game 1, and I mean, it really just comes down to the fact that they just converted on so many of these shots. Cody specifically had a lights-out performance. Again, the fact that this guy has experience in the Blackline Championship Series, playing against much higher-ranked rosters, means that when it comes to the Royalty Series in the All-Star Division, he's actually going to be quite well equipped to this gameplay, because it's going to be gameplay that he just is used to. He's used to playing against higher-level teams, so he can get used to playing against these sometimes lower-level teams. And you know, for a player like Cody, I actually expect him to be a pretty scary player this season. He's nothing. Again, he doesn't do anything magical on the field. His whole playstyle is quite grounded, quite simple, but what he does so well is he's just that consistent, and he's able to be that reliable last player back for a team. I mean, even in, again, Blackline, where he's playing against players who are well higher ranked than him. I mean, this guy, again, I believe has peaked around that high GC1, GC2 level. He's playing against GC3s in the Blackline Championship Series. And he's still holding up just fine, so in the Royalty Series, you should think that he would be much the same. We'll see about that here as Flip Out. Oh, great double save there as that first touch forced out of him. Made him hit that ball away, and well, again, for Ignition, at least so far this series, I think they're going to rely a lot on having Cody be that last one back, being the cleanup crew. That Ignition do need, that Ignition can rely on, and if Cody plays well, we've seen how good this team can be. We saw it last game. Now the question is, can he be consistent with it? Consistency is what turns good teams to great teams, and great teams to the best teams in the league. Without it, you're not going to be at the top of this division. For Ignition is specifically, consistency has sometimes been an issue for them. I feel like it's an issue for every team at this league who aren't at the very top, so it is understandable to see that. But again, so far we saw what they did in Game 1. Now in Game 2 with Immortal Guardians probably making some well-needed adjustments. How does Ignition, respond to that? How does Ignition prove that what they did in Game 1, can be repeated? Maybe not to the exact level that they did, but a very similar level where they get a couple goals, they keep that suffocation offense, they rotate around each other, and where they can score on so many of these opportunities. How do they prove that consistency? They've got to find goals, they've got to find ways to do it, and so far, Immortal Guardians have just sat back a lot more, and it feels like it usually makes a difference, but it really hasn't, because it just lets Ignition have more offense, and with offense comes goals, as we see here. Flip Outs, the flick past Demonic, and it's all they wrote there. Nobody left back for Immortal Guardians, and it is the Ignition side who will score first. In Game 1, they had 3 goals in that first minute. Here it took almost 2 minutes to get that first strike, but still, it's Ignition who take a strong lead. Oh, but they will be scored back! J6 off the kickoff! And Team Ignition, they've got a lot more to think about here. Immortal Guardians, their first goal of the series, and it's coming at a well-needed time. Not only to tie this game up, but to also get them that confidence. They haven't seen it before. Goal to get things started for them. Ignition. Oh, that's a big mistake there from Flip Out. I think he's forgotten. He's not an ODU Monarchs anymore. Those kind of mistakes could be capitalized on a team like Ignition. One that I think is still in its learning curve. The nice thing about this is that these players all have a good amount of chemistry with each other from past experience. Again, Flip Out and Ruby were both on Team Execute a few seasons ago in the Skyward Series. Cody and Ruby have been teammates back in the Black Lion Academy series when they won that division. For Team Ignition and their confidence. Nice thing about this team is that, you know, with chemistry being an issue for a lot of new teams, they've already got it built in. Now it's just about being able to keep that chemistry and just improve on it, because you have to improve in a season like this. It's week 1, so really this is just the starting point of it, but a whole lot more that goes into proving yourself than just playing well. As here's an infield pass, Cody! Oh, and he got saved by Flip Out. Oh, I don't know why he moved across the net like that. As now a miss from Ruby. Wait a second, it's open! And Ricky G will put it in. Team Ignition should have scored on that offensive chance. Flip Out. I have no clue why on earth he went for that save against Cody. Only made things worse for his team. On the other side, it is the Immortal Guardians who have taken full advantage of this Team Ignition lack of consistency that I've mentioned that can plague these teams. As now Flip Out. Oh boy, he's almost done it again there. Oh, huge change from Flip Out this game. He just feels a lot less utilized. And again, he's the big question point, I think, for this Ignition side. How is he going to play? Nearly gave a goal, but he has responded here with a great assist to Cody off that dunk on Devonic. Maybe what I've said about Flip Out may be a bit too harsh. And he is still a very solid player. Mistakes do happen, and a game this close, it's those mistakes that can make the difference. The dunk here from Ricky G. Setting up Devonic. 50 on Cody, but Flip Out will already jump into it, but he doesn't have a great recovery. But look at that touch from Cody. My goodness, he's going for goal on this one, and Essex will get the block, but again, that shows you the level that Cody is used to playing at. The fact that he makes touches like those seems so effortless. And this guy is used to playing against GC3 level teams, so he's got to play like one. And again, it's just about the consistency for Cody that allows him to do it. As now a demo in front. It's Ruby, and Flip Out will finish it off. Team Ignition with the lead back with 43 seconds to go, as an overcommit from Immortal Guardians will cost them dearly. They pushed up there. 2 players had committed on that challenge in the midfield. And Team Ignition were there for every single second of it. Let's Flip Out now. Around the corner. He's got the beat. He's got the nets, but it's just off the post. And Ruby will have to sit back as a 2v1 the other way will be thwarted in the midfield. As Team Ignition so close to ending this game. Flip Out won't reach it. Ruby will get the 50. And now he'll look for this one in front for Cody to solidify this game. I think so many people have to say that's got to do it. That's got to be the goal to set this game straight. Is it? We'll see. There's only 12 seconds left. It's Team Ignition. Well, with this offensive possession, they'll secure a match point for themselves. 1 game away from sweeping Immortal Guardians here in week 1. A great start for the Ignition side. It's only continue here this game with it being a much closer affair, but still, they're the better team. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, it relies a lot on Flip Out, on how he plays in these kind of matchups. Again, he made some crucial mistakes in this game that I feel like they may have been the ones that cost his team, but as we see here, made a ton of efforts to amend that. 2 goals, 1 assist. It's really Flip Out who's been able to be the difference maker of this team, and I guess it's no surprise then why he's been added to this roster. All they need now is 1 more game here for Team Ignition, and the series is theirs. Immortal Guardians. You know, again, for these teams, it's their first time in the Realty Series. Immortal Guardians, again, who've seen success in the past, come in and immediately get swept by Team Ignition would not be a good sight, especially since this is a team I think a lot of people are going to need to be if they want to be at that top level. Yeah, Immortal Guardians have not been able to crack the code, and Team Ignition, again, a org that I've said has not had great success in the playoffs for the Skyward Series. And they keep, I mean, we keep saying it every single year, you know, for players like Flip-Out, for players like Cody, for players like Ruby, that this is their season to step up. And they always seem to sometimes fall a bit short, although last season obviously was different for Flip-Out. He won the whole thing. We see that kind of success story for his teammates this season. So far here in week 1, it seems like we might be seeing the beginning of it as, oh, Flip-Out, why on earth did he just do that? He's just saved another shot from Cody, and I don't know if Flip-Out's just trolling. Honestly, he probably is. He is known for doing that at times, but I mean, that is an easy shot for Cody, and really, you should be taking any goal you can get in this game. So, last game ended with a 1-goal difference, so Flip-Out, I have no clue what he's doing, but he seems to be forgetting that this is an Immortal Guardians team that could still very well win this series. And you just cannot take your eyes off of them. You have to take these guys seriously. Because as we saw from last game, these guys can play well, can be solid, and they definitely can strike. And again, Flip-Out's mistakes here are costing his team dearly, as it all stemmed from that open net whiff there from Flip-Outs, and Immortal Guardians have gone back the other way and scored. And you know, I made the joke up before that he's, you know, Flip-Outs, and that, you know, he's sometimes flipped out of the way of chances, but this time I think it's him actually getting too involved in these opportunities that have hurt his team, and I really just cannot make those kind of mistakes. And against the Immortal Guardians at a 2-0 advantage, you don't really need to worry too much, but with being a best of 5, this series can turn very quickly. You won't want to be the one caught doing so, as Flip-Outs will get the goal. So, well, he has made that earlier mistake. I think this is his apology to Cody. I think Cody will accept it quite well. Ball's leaving here on DFH Stadium. Team Ignition was just ending this game in a sweep. They need a few more goals to really get themselves in that position to really call this game and to call this series. One of the things that has helped them has been these pinches with Immortal Guardians, these 50-50s. Immortal Guardians have not wanted to sit back, and you can understand why. Again, not giving up space to Ignition is probably a pretty good thing in theory, but these 50s from them have not worked, and a lot of what Ignition is doing is they're utilizing these 50s to just burst into that back end of the field that Immortal Guardians aren't covering, and just cause chaos as they'll try again here. Cody in front with Ruby, and that shot was going to be on target, but it will be kept wide. Immortal Guardians will go the other way. Demonic, maybe looking for that 50 with Cody, but Ruby jumped in as well. Immortal Guardians will have to search for another chance. In front, Demonic gets this one over Flip-Outs. Ricky G won't have the shots, and Demonic's touch will be nothing more than just a clear way for Ruby. And it is Team Ignition who, at least for now, and be happy, but not with that play. Long clear, off the post, Demonic. Oh, that really should have gone in for him. It was a great beat to the back line, but now Ignition back the other way. Won't find much of anything to go for, that miss there for Immortal Guardians. It was a great chance for Demonic, a great beat in the midfield. He really did deserve the goal there, but the game thought otherwise. They didn't want him to take that one. And it's going to be Ignition who score. Man, unfortunate scenes for Immortal Guardians, and those kind of plays can really shut down a team's total mentality. See if it does so here for Immortal Guardians, or if it only lights a fire under them that they can come back from. As off the kickoff, Ruby trying to get that beat on Demonic, but he won't find so. Cody now, long shot, Jessix will be there. Flip-Outs, number 3, this one bouncing in front. Triple commit from Immortal Guardians, shot 4 from Ruby. That one's going to find the net, and Ignition are just peppering the net at this point. Some insurance to help them out, but I think that's insurance well deserved off the kickoff. They never gave it away. And I mean, this is the Ignition that we've been waiting to see in such a long amount of time. Ignition that takes their own offensive chances. Really, again, what a start for Ignition this season. And it just looks great as some falls coming from Kura Kenta and Maxi. Maxi, thank you for the follows, everybody. Welcome to Spuddy's stream here. Ignition are now only about 30 seconds away from winning this series in a sweep. Start of the Royalty Series on the Sportia stream, and it looks like Ignition, who again are long-time returners in the stream, have been on the stream a ton, might be able to grab their first win of the season here with a recent pickup in Flip Out, the player who won the All-Star Division last season. It's not a real score here, it's Ruby, and I think that might have just ended all doubts on if Ignition would take this game or not. Really, with that shot from Ruby, that's going to be the difference maker. With 16 seconds to go, it feels like only a formality. Immortal Guardians just were not good enough, did not stand up to Ignition here. And the new Ignition roster, well, what a story they'll have this season if this is the start they're having. They're looking for a second championship, and for Cody Ruby, who again have been in this scene for such a long time. Looking not for their first on Ignition, but their first on Ignition in a league other than the Blackline Championship Series. With how the roster's looking already, that chemistry already being built, and I think so much of this team to be reliant on that chemistry, on these guys working with each other. So far they have, and Immortal Guardians, even if they do score here, which they will not, still Team Ignition will take this game and take the series in a sweep. 3 games straight for the Ignition side, and they didn't have anything slowing them down here in this game. They just looks like the better roster. 3-0. Team Ignition with an incredible start for themselves. Again, with me having seen this roster for such a long amount of time, no surprise to see them continue this. As thank you for casting again. Of course, no problem, Nox. We'll complete that people for all of you. Get up again. A result it has been again. If you're again, what a series it has been from these guys. Flip Out being added in more recently has really made quite the difference for so many teams, and see it here with a Team Ignition that does so well. As Maxi, amazing casting. Thank you so much, man. I've been doing this for well over 2.5 years by this point, so well, actually almost 2.5 years, not well over, almost 2.5 years at this point. So I would say I hope I'm experienced enough in this, but no, I love casting. I love doing this. I'm absolutely horrible at playing this game. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. I'm terrible at this game, but I do love casting it, and it's an amazing situation to be in. As that the team here joining us, it's Cody, Flip Out, and Ruby. A real sweet for Team Ignition. You know, Cody, as I mentioned during that series, you know, every single season, I feel like we keep saying this Team Ignition roster, this is the team to win it this season, and you guys never seem to live up to those expectations. Is this season different?
I think so, man. We've picked up a previous Skyward champion and MVP, Flip Out, and we've been playing really well. Our scrim's been going awesome, and rank's been going well, and we've been having a lot of fun. So I think this is the season we have the best chance.
And I think a lot of the reasons for that is obviously the addition of Flip Out. He won last season. You know, Flip Out, I know, again, you've won, but these two players haven't. And, you know, while Ruby's been experienced in getting second place, and Cody has made it to the playoffs before, what is it like to have the experience of having won in the Skyward Series, now coming into a league that's a combination of the Skyward Series and the Amateur Gaming League, and having won before? What does that experience do to help any team in any situation like this?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's experience. I'd say it's more confidence more than anything else. Like now, I think the going into last season, I knew we would win, just because we were just the best. And this season, I kind of have the same mentality. That I know for a fact we're better than I'd say at least 95% of these rosters. I would say there's maybe one or two that worry me a little bit. I won't say their names just because I don't need to feed their egos any more than I'm sure they already are. But yeah, I'd say more than anything else, now I'm coming in knowing that we can win playoff series, and we're coming in knowing that I'm not gonna say it's not that hard, but I'm saying we are confident this time. We are confident that anyone we play, we are confident that we can beat them, and that's the difference with having just like a few playoff wins versus having a championship under your belt. I think.
Again, that confidence really helped you guys in the series against Royal Guardians. I mentioned it was the Amateur Gaming League matchup because these guys used to be known as the Midnight Vipers. They're extremely solid. They're a consistent playoff team in the Amateur Gaming League. And you guys just swept them. It did not look very close. Ruby, gotta take me through that series. You guys just look confident, look great. This team really has that chemistry going for you guys. And while there were a couple hiccups from Flip Out specifically, yes,
I
I
want to talk about it.
Flip Out. You Flip Out. You might want to fix those consistency issues.
I saw I only had one goal in game one. I was like, well, I need more of that.
And you stole my goal.
I was gonna say Flip Out keeps trying to steal everybody else's goals. This
I'm
series,
an MVP, man. What can I say? I gotta keep that
you
up. People
stole
are
goals
expecting
from
things out of me now.
Cody. Cody already gets enough backlash. You don't need to steal his goals as well.
Yeah, only mine.
Yeah, just Ruby. Don't steal Cody's goals. Cody's too good to have you steal his goals. But while we've been seeing that, Ruby coming into this game, you guys look confident. You guys look ready for this series. Take me through, the fact that you guys have this chemistry, because you and Cody have been teammates before in the past on Ignition. When you won the Black Lion Academy series, you were teammates on Team Ignition last season in the Skyward series. Flip Out was your teammate on Team Execute for when that team was around. What is it like to have that chemistry already built? Because for so many teams, that's the issue this season, is actually building chemistry. You guys seem to already have that figured out.
Man, I'll be real. It feels like seamless when the three of us play. Like, having two former teammates, being my current teammates at the same time. Like, me and Cody have been teaming on and off for, I want to say, 3 years, dude. And, Flip Out, I'll say, no diss to Flip Out back on Team Execute, but he is so much better than he was on Team Execute. And like it's just, it feels so like smooth playing with these two guys. And so, like Flip Out said, we were confident going into the series. We're better than a lot of teams that are in All-Star. And I mean, we just had the confidence of, we're going to take the series, we're going to play our game, and that's exactly what we did. And we handled business pretty well, I want to say.
And of course, obviously, that last member of the roster also joining in. If you guys didn't know, Kara coming in as that coach. I know, Kara, you've been added recently to Team Ignition, but been sitting on that sidelines. During the offseason, there was a lot of Rostermania, as there always is in these leagues, and Ignition was no different, obviously, removing Rizzy, picking up Flip Out, and adding in Kensa as that sub. What for you? What is kind of your job as the coach here on this roster? What are you trying to do to kind of, what is kind of your mentality coming into this roster this season? Because when it comes to a different roster, usually for coaches, that creates a different mentality, a different way of looking at things.
I kind of like, my main goal is individual improvement to start, because I know there's so much untapped potential with everyone here. So that's my first goal. Sorry, my mic sounds bad. I'm on my phone. I don't have my AirPods, so I apologize. But individual improvement to start, and then getting the chemistry together and making sure like the vibes are good and all of that.
Well, again, you started off with individual improvement, and the individuals today looked pretty solid, even if maybe Flip Out kept stealing goals. But we'll end things off with
and saving them, yes.
Yeah, we'll end things off now with Cody again, being the captain, being on this org for the longest out of any of these players at this point. For you at least, knowing Team Ignition, knowing how this org supports you, you gotta take me through kind of what it's been like to, stick with this org. I know Ziggy himself has said to stick with the org that you love and to stick with them as long as you can. And I feel like you're a pretty good example of that you've stuck with this org for such a long amount of time and for very good reasons. I mean, you embody that kind of sticking with an org. What is it about Team Ignition that makes them such a solid org for you to stick around with, better than any other org out there?
I think honestly, it's more not necessarily an org, more as a family. These guys, every time we have matches, Ziggy's in the chat. Other members are out in the chat supporting us, cheering us on, tagging us, rooting for us. And it just, it feels good to know that everyone has your back. Ziggy's an awesome guy. I love, working with him, repping his organization. Wouldn't want it any other way. And yeah, man, I think it's just, that inclusion feeling, like they just took us in with open arms, no questions asked kind of thing. And so we've been doing our best to perform as well as we can. And I think we've been doing that, and want to bring another championship in Rocket League, back to Ignition.
Yeah, and of course, to end things off, is there anything you want to say to Flip Out specifically for continuously stealing your goals? And not even just stealing your goals and then missing the open nets.
As long as we keep winning, man.
I have zero regrets.
Yeah.
Flip Out has no
He's
regrets.
stat padding for MVP.
Yeah,
Yep.
Flip Out really wants that MVP award so much he's willing to backstab for it. That sounds about Flip Out. I've seen Flip Out enough times to know that is exactly how Flip Out plays. But again, even so, congratulations on your win, a real sweep. Flip Out, even with Flip Out playing against you guys, you still won here this series. So congratulations on that here for week 1, taking out Immortal Guardians. And as you said, this is the ignition to win this season, Cody. And well, you guys are starting off definitely looking that way. But let's get some shoutouts going. Let's start with Coach Kara.
Shout out the boys who showed up today. Hopefully it keeps going. And shout out Heliacal for being emotional support in DMs. I appreciate him, even though he is my #1 hater.
Well, we'll move now to Ruby. Is there anything that you want to say, any shoutouts that you have? By the way, everybody, if you don't know, Ruby's another caster as well, so go check him out whenever he live streams. Great personality. I've worked with him. If you haven't seen him before, you definitely should check him out.
I appreciate that. Wow. Okay.
No problem.
First off, shout out you, Sporty. That was great.
Yo, I
shout
did
out
the
my
same
man,
thing with
Sporty.
Taquito when he played on my stream literally yesterday, so.
Oh wow. Well, shout out Sporty, Goat, my Goat caster. Always love being on your stream, man. Shout out my family that watches these matches, supports me. I feel like I kind of introduced them to the world of esports, and them like just backing me is kind of a good feeling to have. Shout out to all of Ignition. I know I've been inconsistent with this organization, and no matter what, Ziggy's just like, man, this is your home. Like you can leave and go however many times, and we'll still have you here whenever you want. And that's a good feeling to have a home and have a place where you belong. Shout out Flip Out, my guy over here.
Why?
Because well,
What did I do?
I hate you for ruining my shooting percentage, but also like you just kind of like came into this system and was like, man, yeah, I'm gonna work with this no matter how crazy I play. So that's pretty important. Coach Kara, of course, emotional support for the most part today, but I don't think we really needed anything more than that. We were kind of rolling, so
Yeah.
that's all I really have.
We'll now talk to the one person that you left out of that conversation. Actually, in just a little bit, you left out. I love it. Cody always gets shafted, no matter what
I
happens.
shouted him out earlier.
always-
I shouted him out earlier.
Yeah,
You did shout out Cody. All right, I was gonna say Cody always gets shafted in these. I don't know
No,
why
it's
it is you, Cody, specifically. Maybe it's because you're like a million times older than everybody else in the scene.
Yeah, pretty
but-
much.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But I again, the funny part is I know you guys so well that it's like that I'm picking up on these like consistencies. But no, again. But we'll move on to Flip Up now. I'm gonna stop trying to interject so much. Flip Up, is there any shoutouts? Do you have anything you want to say?
Shout out obviously the team and the org. It's only we've been official for like what is it, 9 hours,
week?
something like that.
Oh,
No, we haven't.
well, on
we've
Twitter
been-
official, yeah.
Twitter official for we've scrimmed. I think we've played what 2, 3 scrims now total.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Like
something like that.
the transition's been relatively seamless, and my only hope is that we can just keep that up. I think we can. I have a lot of if it's not obvious through how I talk nowadays, I have a lot of confidence. Some may construe it as cockiness. My friend Mason, I don't know if he's watching, but I know my girlfriend is, so shout out her as well. He was saying, he's really cocky. He's really got to work it. And then I said, I'll stop being confident when I stop winning, and that hasn't happened yet. So I'm gonna keep that going. I'll keep the team for that. But
I like
thank
that from
you.
you.
Shout out Kara and you, the caster, obviously. I'm excited to watch this back tonight. Kara just pinged me and said your ego too big at Flip Out, so that's fun. But yeah, shout out everyone who's watched. Shout out the org. I've barely really talked to anyone on it so far, but I'm looking forward to being part of this family. So yeah, shout out everyone who's watching. Shout out people who shout out. I don't know. I'm like dying of sickness right now, and I can't talk good, so I'm gonna shut up now.
Don't worry, I got that. I just came back from vacation, so I have the exact same kind of feeling. You get a little sick afterwards, but hey, you're back and you're back on the grind, and that's the fun thing about this is that you're on a new team, a whole different situation, and still you guys are doing very well. As we'll now end things off with with Captain Cody here. Cody, again, you've been on the stream so often. And again, as you said, this is the season for you guys. But is there anybody you want to thank that's helped you at least for this good start in the season? Maybe even a better continuation of this going in the regular season and hopefully into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, shout out the boys. Everyone showed up today. The team, Coach Kara, everyone over at Ignition watching, supporting. We really appreciate all the love. Shout out you, Sporty. Shout out Immortal Guardians too. They were a good team, good solid team. We put some prep into getting ready for them. Also want to shout out my girlfriend too. She watches and supports me. Loves watching these games too. So shout out her. Thanks for watching.
I feel bad for not shouting out my girlfriend, bro.
No, never do it, man. It's always a conversation. It's always a conversation.
Shout out my girlfriend. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah,
Go
no,
ahead,
that's pretty much pretty much all I can think of right now. Obviously, anyone that supports us. Shout out Royalty Series. I know everyone put in a lot of work. Being on the staff team, I know how much work went in behind the scenes to get this rolling, and excited to see all the new stuff it rolls out. But yeah, that's about it.
Again, now I've figured out I'm very lonely. But congratulations on your win nonetheless. Again, congrats on your win.
She'll come, Swarty. She'll come around.
I don't really. I'm not searching. Oh yeah, I forgot Car's here. Hello, Car.
Oh yeah, hello. Sorry, I fixed my mic now. I had the bathroom fan on, so that was why my mic.
I was assuming that's what we heard in the background there. Well, again.
Yeah, I was just fresh out of the shower when I joined the VC, so.
Dude's taking a shower while the rest of the team's playing. I see. This is one of Car's, I guess, tricks here. If he takes a shower, the team just does better. But again, congratulations. Congratulations on the win, though, Team Ignition. A 3-0 sweep over Mortal Guardians. Good luck next week, whoever you play. That schedule has not been released, so I do not know who it will be. But congratulations on your win. Good luck next week. Hopefully, we'll see you guys again very, very soon. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Swarty.
Good night, Sporty. Love you, go.
Bye.
There you go. That was Team Ignition joining in. Again, it's a lot of people I know very well, so good to see them being successful, especially players like Cody, who's been in this league for such a long amount of time. But let's get our raid going. Thank you all so much for joining the Sporty stream tonight. We're going to get a raid, and we're going to end the stream. Thank you all so much. Our only match tonight here. I feel sweet for Team Ignition. Congrats to them on the win. Thanks to Immortal Guardians for joining as well. But to all of you, thank you so much. We'll see you again very soon.